Comic book and manga fans, this is H German from Sigma Comics back again with another video. This is a follow-up video to a video I did a few months ago called the 2020's Comic-Con Problem, where I identified an issue with the costs associated with attending and exhibiting a Comic-Con anywhere in the country, and value add items that could be provided to attendees that could really sweeten the pot, if you will, really make it compelling, not only to go to the Comic Con, but also continue going to the Comic Con and cultivating the industry and the activity, the American activity of comic book reading, right? That in recent years has seen quite a bit of a drop off. All right, you used to see comics all across the country, and now you can really only pick them up in two places: comic book shops and Comic Cons. But before we get into the title, I'm going to take a swig of the old Calico mug here. Never disappoints. And we're going to tell you who we are. We are Sigma Comics. We are dedicated to the fight against animal cruelty through our series Here Comes Calico. Calico gets intel on people who abuse and kill animals, and he goes after them with extreme justice. You're looking at our website here, sigmacomics.com, where you can pick up our comic books, our trade paperbacks, our manga series, and of course, great merch. And right now on Kickstarter, you can pick up this great book, our latest book. I don't even have it in my hands yet. You have to pre-order it. So do we. You have to go to Kickstarter.com. You'll get it exactly when we get it. Okay. The campaign ends at the end of May. So you really only have until the end of May. Okay. So you can order it anytime in May here. But once that pre-order period is over, you can no longer get it. You'll have to wait till it gets on our website. So get it now, and you can get all of our books at the Kickstarter page simply by going to Kickstarter.com, typing in Calico Unwanted Man. You can download the first chapter, which is unheard of. You could watch a trailer, and you could learn about, and you could select a reward and get all of our books. All right, so let's jump into this title here. The key takeaway from the previous video, which by the way, I'll link in the description. The first video is called the 2020's Comic-Con Problem. And like I said, it's linked in the description. It's really identifying something that you could really, a tangible thing that you can put in an attendee's hands so that they can really get that feeling that they're getting great value regardless of the type of experience they have at the con. You have to understand something. Some of these cons are upwards of $100 a day to attend these things. I mean, the Comic-Con ticket is extremely expensive, okay? And when I say Comic-Con, for the reference of this video, we're talking about any comic book convention, okay? That we're not talking about a specific Comic-Con, okay? There are quite literally dozens of comic book or Comic-Con conventions all across the country. So again, this does not pertain to one particular event. It really is a commentary on all of the conventions, which we'll call Comic-Cons for the sake of this video and this topic. So again, these people are paying lots of money. Some of them are having bad experiences, and that could be their last experience at the show. And the other part of it are the exhibitors who are coming to this show, and specifically the comic book publishers, small indie publishers who are in a very impacted industry. Okay, again, the comic book industry is not what it used to be. Okay, so imagine paying more. Imagine paying more to exhibit at one of these conventions when the market is not as strong as it used to be back in the 2000s and in the 90s. It costs more to exhibit as an exhibitor at these conventions now than it used to be then, yet the industry was much, much more uh, prolific and hot and much bigger then in these times. How on earth does that make sense? It doesn't, right? So you're paying a lot more to sell to a much smaller market. And the point that I made in the previous video is, comic book conventions, they're in a great position to really reverse this trend, or at least impact it in a positive way, because you have thousands of people that attend these shows, many of whom have never picked up a comic book. Mind you, these are Comic Cons, and most of the people attending the Comic Cons haven't even ever picked up a comic book. Okay, so how can you fix that? Well, I mentioned the idea of something called comic books, where you can incentivize, well, provide the attendees with, actual comic books, little paper that they can go and redeem at participating exhibitors, and they can work out some kind of benefit there where you have more people buying these comics, right? But recently, one of the showrunners, Reed Pop, introduced, I believe it's Reed Pop, they introduced I'm not sure what they're calling it, something e-zine or a comic zine or something like that, where artists are being invited to um, have some of their artwork be carried in this publication that they're going to be putting out. I'm not sure if they're going to charge the attendees for this, but at least they're getting participation from creatives in the event, and they're going to put them together in a book. So what I say, and what I was actually thinking already before this product came out, of course it's convenient for me to say this, but it is actually true. I noticed that this video is coming out significantly after the first one, and it's because we've been extremely busy. Me in particular, working on the finishing touches of Calico and Wanted Men, and of course starting the 2026 convention season. That's the only reason we haven't put them out. But I had actually come up with an idea very similar to the comic zine concept that thankfully Reed Pop is now putting out and putting into practice. And that is to put together a Tankaban style or a shonen style, jump book, the way they do in Japan with their manga. For the uninitiated, in Japan, before something sort of gets really popular, just as a set standalone manga book, it typically gets promotion in a very big sort of giant, what's called a shonen sort of jump book. It's a big magazine style book that has hundreds of pages with numerous short portions of an upcoming manga. And that's really aimed to get the readership into the book as sort of a jumping point into picking up the set individual manga itself. Well, why can't we do this with our comics and manga at the conventions, right? One of these convention runners, like a Reed Pop or like a Fan Expo, if they got into the habit of, I don't know, maybe in their biggest show, putting together a comic book or a let's call it maybe a comic book zine or like this one, or a comic book, uh, whatever they want to call it. I'm not exactly sure the name, but a compiled book that comes out once a year for that show, invites all of the exhibitors who are comic book manga publishers, okay, to contribute, I don't know, 20, 30 pages, whatever it is, into this book. It could be affordably made, black and white, okay, and this could be handed out as a free gift. Here's the 2027, New York Comic Con blockbuster or blockbuster book or whatever you want to call it. But now you are giving these people a physical thing, okay? And eventually, when the industry sort of goes closer into the direction of digital, which we certainly still are not here in America. Of course, that is the case in Japan. But eventually, you can significantly reduce the cost down to nil when you do get to a digital uh, level as a convention runner, right? So let's say you start the thing for the first 3 or 4 or 5 years as an actual book that you're just handing out to the customers, to the attendees, and they're getting used to this, right? And the exhibitors are getting used to, providing content for it. It's a communal thing. Everybody's sort of getting together. More people are getting into comics. New kids that have never even picked up a comic book or learning about comics, and now going directly to a booth because they saw at the end of the story they really liked in their 2027 New York Comic Con blockbuster book. Okay, at the end of the story that they liked from, Sigma Comics, oh wow, we went to booth 2137 because we saw this great story in this big blockbuster book, and now we're here to get that. We're here to purchase that book. That would be wonderful. And folks, it's not expensive at all. We could publish this thing. I mean, this thing, you could really do this very affordably. Okay, and again, you only have to do it for a few years until you get the audience acclimated, the brand recognition you need enough that people are counting on this product and say, hey, for the 2030 show or the 2032 show, whatever it is, we're going to put out the blockbuster in digital format moving forward so you could read it and enjoy it on your tablet. That's all you have to do. It doesn't have to be a long-term print production thing. And again, if you do it black and white, you can really make this very affordable. And it's a great affordable way to get more people into comics, more people into the books, supporting your exhibitors, giving them a reason to keep coming back and participating. It's a win-win, folks. And I think the first step is this comic zine that ReadPop is putting out this year for the first time. And I really think kudos to them, ReadPop, for doing this, because it's really a great first step in the right direction to cultivating comics at the conventions. Because again, it's one of only 2 places that people are now reading comics. And again, let me remind the audience, comic books are an American original, all right? An American tradition. This is something that is key to the convention experience, all right? So it certainly should be motivation for the convention itself to keep comics going, right? And also, it gives conventions a way to ensure a growing trend with the exhibitors and a growing trend with the attendees, because it's something you're putting in their hands. It's something they're looking forward to every year, and it's great differentiation for your show. All right, and every convention can do it. The folks at Fan Expo could do it, whatever their big convention is. And I think MegaCon is probably the one for them. They could certainly put out a great MegaCon book, blockbuster book, and the folks at ReadPop can put out their book in at the New York Comic Con show, right? Comic Con International, they could put out their book in San Diego, right? So, this thing could really, this concept has legs. And again, you could do this very affordably. Why? Because it's black and white, and you're getting new people every year. You're putting these books in their hands, and you're sending them to different booths all across your convention floor. It just makes sense. You put a story, you ask the exhibitors, hey, contribute a story for the 2027 blockbuster book, okay? And they're going to hand you a 20, 30-page short story, whatever it is, and ending with their booth number at the end there. So they can count on traffic throughout that weekend. And it's valuable for them because they're not paying anything for it. It's a value add for the convention that they're providing for the exhibitor. And, of course, to the attendee who's walking away with this big, heavy book. All right. And, of course, eventually, like I said before, 4 or 5 years down the line, you could turn it into digital as we as a society become more digital readers than the physical print. Every indication shows that is the case. We just need more time. Japan is already there. And it's not just Japan, it's the East. All those Far Eastern countries are already, reading manga on their devices, tablets and phones, etc., etc. We're not there yet. Again, started as a print, black and white, do it very cheaply. Again, we could do this. I mean, this is, you can even get one of your publishers at the show to do this affordably, or link a few of them. This is not expensive, folks. And you could ensure that all your attendees can walk away with something great and valuable, and thus ensuring the continuum of comics. More every year, more and more people, younger people, reading comics, getting acclimated to these stories, developing relationships with these indie publishers, growing the industry of comics. Everybody's happy, folks. This is a win-win. This, in my view, this is a no-brainer. And again, credit to ReadPop for putting a good foot forward here with this comic e-zine. I'm not exactly sure when it will debut. I think it will be New York Comic Con, if I'm not mistaken. Please do correct me in the comments if I am mistaken. But again, kudos to ReadPop for doing this. And listen, keep your ears open, ReadPop, because I think that the idea that I'm presenting here is going to be more effective, because you're really getting full stories and that are being promoted in this book that will again send people off to booths all across your convention. And that's just the first step, right? People are going to want the second book, right, the following year, and so on and so forth. So you could really start a very beautiful trajectory here with this concept of this comic book blockbuster, or whatever you want to call it. All right, I used blockbuster, but that's just a name, a placeholder. You could use whatever name it is, but I really think there's a very good concept here, and it's one that can ensure that these conventions, who again attract all these people every year, and again, these people do a great job of attracting people there. The only problem is that, remember, comic books is I don't want to call it a dying industry, but folks, it's on life support right now. Again, you were once able to get comic books at gas stations, pharmacies, okay, laundromats, hospitals, corner stores, newsstand, everywhere you went, you had comics, and it was a big industry, and that simply is not the case anymore. And again, conventions are one of really two places where people can still get them. Again, here you have this massive opportunity where you can match attendee with publisher for a very, very low cost, thus ensuring that in the years to come, you are cultivating this relationship so that more and more and more and more of these transactions can happen at your convention floor. Guys, this is a no-brainer here. Okay, again, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. I'm going to end it there with that idea. ReadPop, Fan Expo, Comic-Con International, go ahead and start getting these books together and start inviting the small publishers like Sigma Comics to contribute. We will most certainly contribute and support you in this effort, and at the same time, cultivate that industry with you. Let's do it. Let's do it together. Let's leave you with this note to remind you that we have our latest book, Calico Unwanted Men, on Kickstarter right now. All you need to do is go to Kickstarter.com, type in Calico Unwanted Men, and boom, pre-order that big boy, that bad boy right there. That's it. Keep on fighting for animals.